We do that through, we publish it on our website. It is in English, Spanish, German, and French, and it should be possible, everything I say today and much, much more is possible to find through the search engine on that site. It's hard to describe the speed in which things are developing. I mean, we're using all kinds of sources. We've always tracked shipping. We do that a couple of times a day. We've done that for 15 years. So we see all ships that come in and all ships that go out. We see how deep they are in the water. If they're deep, they're full. If they're high in the water, they're empty. We can calculate the cargo. We check social media posts. We check Moroccan media. We hear stuff from investors. We get interesting information from the ground. And together we compile this into articles or reports. Now it's all online. But now it's really developing quickly. When we started this 20 years ago, we were focused on the oil industry and the plunder. For us, it's less now a matter of plunder. It's even more with infrastructure. It's building ports, electricity grids, renewable energy. It's a matter of, it's more now, for me at least, a matter of infrastructure than exporting illegally products from the occupied territory. This also means that we see larger involvement from larger European, mostly construction groups, engineering groups. Mostly European companies are involved. European companies backed by their European governments. We also have an occasional African or Asian, North American, but it's mostly a European responsibility what we're seeing. When we are attacking these, we call it attacking companies, there's something special with company. A company is fragile by nature. A government can lie, to say it so in that way. A government has so many issues to balance at the same time, on migration and climate and human rights and foreign policies and crime. And government has a difficult balance to strike. But a company, they just have one agenda, and that's make profits. And we can do something with that. We can target their image, and we can target their clients. We can target their owners, their trade unions, their trading partners, their insurers, their auditors, their wives. That was a we can reach a company through a million different ways. And through that, companies pull out. They do. We have so many examples of companies realizing we did something wrong, and then they stop. So there's something very efficient on working on businesses, but the speed, I think, is not going quick enough because there are more companies coming in than realizing that they should go out. So it's fascinating with, it was mentioned very quickly, the case of Siemens, the German-Spanish group that is in renewable energy. Now, in light of Resolution 1514, it's funny to see how the companies keep ignoring the people's right to self-determination, and they all apply the same logic as the European Commission, representing the population of the territory. So a company like Siemens, they responded to our organization last week, bragging about how many thousands of jobs they've created, as if that is responding to the question of self-determination for the people of Western Sahara. So talking about how many settlers they employ is seen as something positive from these companies. We said that's something negative. But this is now all the companies involved who go to the length of trying to argue why they are there. They use this sort of benefit to the population argument. Now, I wanted to say something more about the renewable energy, because this is really going so fast. The first licenses were awarded, I think, back in 2012, and it went quite slowly, and now it's picking up so much speed, both on a corporate level and a government level, on a funding level, infrastructure building, it's on windmills, it's on solar, and now huge talks of green hydrogen. And the volumes in investments is massive. It's hard for us to write compilations of overviews over the project because it's developing so quickly from week to week. So we see how the products are shipped. This is a difficult part of the research, is to document the exports into the territory before it happens, because then we need to know things that haven't happened yet. So this is exports from Spain, and inside the holes in Spain. This one here, Engie, or NG, I think they're pronounced in France. That's, I think, the most controversial project of all. They are, through windmills, they are concluding a factory that will turn seawater into fresh water. The fresh water will be channeled through a pipeline system to a massive increase in farmland just north of Dakhla. That farmland will be the place of work for thousands and thousands of settlers. So renewable energy has deep political consequences. NG keeps referring to the territory as Morocco. All the files we've had from within the company that has been leaked to us refer to Western Sahara as Morocco. And also in the public documentation we have, every reference is that this is Morocco. It has traditionally been the way that Western Sahara has a separate electricity grid from Morocco, or a very limited transmission capacity from the one place to the other. But that is now picking up speed. The French government guaranteed the funding of a 3 gigawatt cable that will be tying Western Sahara to Casablanca. So this is the tender concluded in November, and among the 5 companies that are qualified is Siemens, and an Indian company, and which last one is GE Vernova from US, and 2 Chinese ones. This is a typical email that Morocco would send to companies in my country, Norway. It brags about 1 million hectares of land. It's the quarter of Denmark. That has been set aside for green hydrogen. So they're basically open about the largest potential is in Western Sahara. And that's why they want to have companies from countries like Norway involved. Morocco, you see in Morocco there at number 7 on the green, very high up on the green. This is the ranking of the global achievements, country by country achievements under the Paris Agreement, where we are all supposed to deliver good results for the climate targets. Morocco scores among the best countries in the world. And the reason why Morocco does that is because they are lying in its reports to the UNFCCC, the UN organization that files the national determined contribution files from each country. Morocco is including projects in Western Sahara in its reporting. By doing that, they can inflate their own figures, they score well internationally, and they can then sell carbon credit to rich countries in the global north, in the future, in the close future. 4 short bullet points. I mean, the main responsibility, I think, is with the European countries, European investors, European banks, European companies. But there are also possibilities for countries that are sympathetic to the Sahrawis. And this is a message to those states who are clearly on the right side of the law. The first one is the National Determined Contribution File that was sent by Morocco to the UNFCCC in a year from now. All of you member states are currently producing your NDC files to the UN. Morocco is going to lie, and there will be an opening for your governments to object. Ukraine is protesting when Russia reports on Crimea. Polisario has no space around the table to protest when Morocco is doing the same in Western Sahara, so they will need help. Point 2, Namibia and East Timor came with fantastic recommendations to Spain at the UPR 2020. The next Spanish UPR is in 2025. There will be an option to repeat the wonderful recommendation from Namibia, but also if other countries want to join in protest or underline the Spanish responsibility. The third, very many of the companies involved in Western Sahara are operating in your states. It is possible to put pressure on these companies. Unless they abide by or respect human rights, they are not welcome in your country. So it's a very good way of pushing companies. And if any of you want to know anything about these companies, come to us. The last point, the very last, is my government invests 30 billion euros in companies in Western Sahara. That's from the National Pension Fund. I think most of you states here today also have sovereign wealth funds, pension funds, invested on the global stock market in one way or the other. And through that, there's also ways of exercising pressure, which many European private banks do. Anyway, thank you for listening.